Hey guys, Mike B. Rolling here. Pardon the way I'm dressed. It's the weekend, or it's my weekend anyway. Started today, and I'm not been out mowing the yard and everything. Sun's out, guns out, kind of a deal. But I had a good comment on there about a guy was asking about what do you do when dispatchers bully you? Uh, when you're too tired to drive, too sleepy to drive, and threaten to fire you and this and that and the other. And that's a complex subject. First off, most people would go into, first off, understand the trucking industry. It's not easy. It is not easy. You're going to have times where you get held up at receivers or getting loaded or the unforeseen hiccups that hold up, and you got to sit there. You may have taken a full 10-hour break and you drove maybe an hour to get to where you're going, and you got to sit there all freaking day waiting to get loaded, and you've got you know well, go off duty so you can reset your clock. That way tonight when you get loaded, they're going to have to load you on third shift, and that way you can drive through the night and make it there on time. There's times stuff like that does happen. Uh, and for the most part, I would say rest however much you can, because that night's going to be brutal. Yeah, you slept all night the night before, or maybe whatever your sleep schedule is, but try to lay down, rest as much as you can, because it's going to suck, but it's got to be done. If you had the time to take the hours off and electronic logbooks and all, they know if you're sitting there for 10 hours, you should have fresh hours and no excuse of not to deliver that load. Because it's not a 9 to 5 job out here. Sometimes it's 24/7. You sleep when you can, reset your clock, and get it done. Now, that being said, on the other hand, one thing you have to understand coming, especially to the new guys coming into the trucking industry, and gals coming into the trucking industry, uh, anything that happens, whether it's unsecured load, an accident, uh, falling asleep at the wheel and crashing that truck, the only blame is going to you. That is your truck. When you're driving that truck, you are the responsible party. You are the professional driver. No matter what dispatch tells you or threatens you with or this, that, or the other, if you're falling asleep at the wheel and you cannot drive, you don't call them and ask them to pull over. You call them and inform them that you're pulling over. I'm making the call. I'm unsafe to drive. I'm falling asleep at the wheel. I have to grab an hour, 2 hour, whatever nap, and then we'll try it again. But they need to know in no uncertain terms. You're not asking them. You're telling them. At least that's the way I am. It's always easier to, I'm a firm believer in the old saying, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. But yeah, you got to understand, if you fall asleep, if they threaten to fire you, so what, man? There's so many drivers, so many companies out there. If a company fires you one day, you'll have a job lined up, multiple jobs lined up by the end of the next business day. I promise you. Trucking is people are like, oh, they're threatening to fire me if I don't do this, I don't do that. Well, if they're telling you to do something that is unsafe, number one, you don't want to be working for them anyway. Dispatchers, safety people in the office, not all of them. By a wide margin, not all of them, but there are some that they expect. All they know is they told the customer that the load will be picked up here and delivered here on this time and that time, and all they know is that load's got to be there, or it's going to be a black eye on us, or we might lose the account, and they'll bend over backwards to get you to pull a rabbit out of the hat to get that load accomplished. Myself, I thrive in that market. That's where I shine. I'm what they call one of the go-to guys when they have a problem and something that nobody else can do or will do, or I'm the guy they call, because you know what? I'm the fixer. I'm specially equipped to handle situations like that. Because one thing I'll tell anybody new to this business, if you're going to make it in any business and anything you do in life, there's competition in everything you do. Find what it is that people aren't willing to do and get good at it. You'll succeed. That's a recipe for success. Works every time. Less competition, prices go up. Favors go up. Just don't be afraid if they threaten to fire you because you don't deliver that load on time, because whatever the case may be. If you're falling asleep at the wheel, you pull that truck over. It's not about your job or their reputation. It's about the families that are driving down the road. You wipe out, fall asleep at the wheel, you're in an 80,000 pound rolling missile. It just, no, pull that thing over. If the road conditions are bad, or you're falling asleep at the wheel, or just anything that makes the conditions unsafe, pull that rig over immediately. Just the best advice I can give you, because they're the ones threatening to fire you. But if it comes right down to it that you fall asleep at the wheel and you try to argue it in court, or argue to the cops that I tried to tell them I needed to pull over and they bullied me and they did this, do you have a recorded conversation of them bullying you? Another piece of advice, that when you're talking to them on the phone, there's apps where you can record every conversation with that dispatcher, and, telling you, if you don't do this, you're going to be fired, blah, blah, blah. Get that on recording, because it could come very, very useful in the near future. Myself, I don't deal with I don't take threats. Number one, if you threaten me, I'm going to deliberately call you on that, even at the detriment of my own job. If you try to bluff me, I will call you on your bluff, even if it means me giving up a good job, because don't threaten me. I'm not the guy. I will call you on it out of principle alone. This is my truck and my company, and it'll do what I say it's going to do. And if you don't like it, pound sand. Homie, don't play that. I'm not about it. But, that being said, when you're driving in someone else's truck for another company, yeah, they're your boss, they're this, they're that. But if you're being put in situations where you're, held up this and that and the other, and it's dragging out, and now you've got to drive past your, you've got to extend your duty cycle, and, maybe you're the type of driver that drives from, 6 a.m. till 8 o'clock in the evening, and that's your window of running, and you like to sleep at night. Well, sometimes you have to shift that. Sometimes you don't get to start till noon, then you got to run till 2 a.m. To get it as far as you can. So you've got to be flexible and be able to do that. On the same token, if you've done everything that you could do to be in position to get a load, and say a scenario comes up where a crane goes down or whatever, and they're having trouble getting you loaded, but it's got a, maybe it's got a 9 a.m. deadline delivery. It's got to be there tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Here it is. It's going to be a 6-hour drive to get it there. And, guys, it's already 10 o'clock at night. Come on. I've tried to sleep this afternoon, but, I would call my dispatcher and let them know ahead of time. This is going to be a problem because I was unable to sleep or rest for whatever reason. Maybe you had to help them, assist them or something like that. And there's a chance I may not make it. I'm just letting you know now. If I get tired, I'm shutting down. But I'll send you a text and let you know if I have to shut down. So they know ahead of time. And don't let, they're going to say the same thing. I'll just do your best, because most of these dispatchers out there, like he mentioned a channel, Run Hard, Get Paid, whatever. This guy did a channel a few years back. That dispatcher that got caught on that recording threatening to fire him if he didn't run hard, that was a bad move. Bad move. You're not going to run across that a lot, but if you do, that guy's not going to be a dispatcher very long, because they'll put him in prison for that. That's you maybe not put him in prison, but they'll certainly lawsuits will fly, civil suits. It just you don't do that. This is a safety oriented business. You don't order someone to do something unsafe, or if they tell you they feel it. At the same time, don't be one of these guys that cries, unsafe, I feel unsafe. No. You don't do that. You're not going to last very long in this industry. This industry is a no bullshit kind of industry. The guys that are whining and crying, they're out really quick from the good companies. Now, there's a lot of companies that'll keep them for an extended period just for a heartbeat and a seat. But if you're with a good company on a good account making good money and you're a whiner, you're not going to last long. There's other guys out there that'll keep their mouth shut, keep their head down, and get the job done, and be a lot more dependable. That would just, every dispatcher knows who they are, and they would love nothing better than to get the whiner off of the bad run and put the dependable guy on that good run. But yeah, that being said, everything is so safety oriented because the lawsuits that are flying around in the trucking industry are ginormous. They called our safety lady, Linda, sweet lady. She tells me they do these what they call nuclear verdicts, which is just, insane verdicts from juries, insane dollar amounts for not insane situations. The one case I know of was, of course, this was about 10 years ago, but I'm sure the numbers are much bigger now. A driver was doing everything right. He was in the right lane. He was up in Livonia, Michigan. It was wintry conditions, but the roads were clear and wet, but not icy or, none of those. But the snowplows were out clearing the shoulders and whatnot. A snowplow had broke down on the shoulder. The driver was in the right lane, and it's like, 4 or 5 lanes going through there. Well, he's in the right lane, doing the speed limit, legal logbook, legal truck. He can't get over because he's in rush hour traffic. So he's slowing down, and it shows right on the computer in the truck that he slowed down from 55 all the way down to 45 because he was coming up on this broke down snowplow on the shoulder, and the driver of that snowplow walks in front of the snowblade and steps into the right lane, into traffic, just walks right out into traffic right there. And that truck just, graveyard dead, right on the spot. The guy walked right out into traffic. What was that driver to do? He did absolutely nothing wrong, right? $3.5 million verdict in a civil suit for wrongful death against the company. The driver, he's mentally distraught for the rest of his life because he killed a man, But oh no, they still got a just massive amount of money for the guy that got killed. His family got the money. He's the one that made the mistake, yet they got paid. Make that make sense. That's the trucking industry. Everything is safety minded. If you're in a condition where you don't feel safe, stop doing whatever it is you're doing until whatever situation is rectified. Do not push the envelope, especially voice your opinion to dispatch, the boss, the owner, whatever. This situation right here is not good for me. It's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. I'm stopping. I'm going to bed, or I'm not hauling these loads, or, they're expecting me to do this. And that's just, there's no, fall protection or whatever the situation is. If it's unsafe and it's not legal, don't do it, because as soon as you make the decision to do it, you're assuming responsibility for your own actions, and everybody will point the finger at you when the shit goes sideways. And it always does. Sooner or later, it goes sideways, and everybody's going to say, driver's responsible. He shouldn't have been doing that. He never should have done that. Even though 6 people ordered him to do it, all those people all of a sudden develop amnesia, and then everybody points their finger at the driver trying to save their own necks. So I'm telling you, you are the driver of that truck. That is your domain. You rule that domain. Nobody tells you what you will and will not do in a safe versus unsafe condition. Now, that being said, there are times where we have to go the extra mile to, make our customers or everything. If you don't have customers, you don't have a trucking company. And, I'm guilty of it myself. I have pushed and pushed and pushed to make sure that a bad situation wasn't quite so bad, because I was able to jump in there and help the guy out, repower his load. He broke down. I finished my load, and instead of, taking my break like I should have, I would drop my trailer and go back and grab his trailer and deliver his load, and then come drop his trailer, go back and get my trailer, and then take my break, I'll be the first to admit it. There's rare occasions or instances where, over the years, like I said, 25 years history, I've had to do that a time or two. And that goes a long way. I took a huge chance. It was all my decision. If I would have got caught running after hours, it would have been my neck on the line, and I wouldn't have let anyone else take the blame. I'd have taken the blame, because that's just the kind of guy. I'm a stand-up kind of guy. But if you make a decision to do something that's not in the letter of the law, you're taking full responsibility on yourself. So, if you're falling asleep at the wheel and you wipe that truck out and kill just imagine a family on vacation. The dad's driving, the mom and the kids are sitting there sleeping, going down the road, and you run them right into the ditch and land right on top of them and kill them all dead. You'll have to live with that for the rest of your life. I'm not doing it. If I'm that sleepy that I can't keep my eyes open, you do the walk around trick, walk around your truck, check your tires, roll the windows down. We've all got our little tricks. I'll turn the radio up, I'll put some really good music on, some good, head bopping music, and roll the windows down, and especially in the wintertime, get it cold in the cab. There's all kinds of tricks you can do just to, a lot of times guys will smack themselves in the face. I've seen all kinds of things going down the road. But that stuff only works for so long, man. There comes a point where your eyelids feel like they weigh 100 pounds, and there's just absolutely nothing you can do. Pull that thing over. Call it. Just sometimes a half hour or an hour power nap, man, will go a long way. But just quick video. Just just so everybody understands, I'm not advocating anybody breaks the law or does anything unsafe. If you don't do it by the letter of the law, sooner or later they're going to get you. They're going to tag you, and it's going to be your fault because you made the decision. So that being said, y'all be safe out there, and like and subscribe and keep them questions and comments coming, man. I appreciate it. We'll catch you later.